Only you can start forest fires. No, that's not right. Welcome to my new review where I'm going to review Firewatch by Campo Santo. I hope you all enjoy it. Firewatch is a first-person mystery adventure game, and it takes place in the Shoshone National Forest. You play as a guy named Henry, who has come to the forest to escape his life. At the beginning of the game, you play what is essentially a choose-your-own-adventure book. You choose the backstory on who you are and make choices such as marriage, children, and even what pet you choose to own. Your life is going great until your wife, Julia, develops early-onset dementia. From that point on, everything goes downhill for Henry. You could tell by how the game was starting out that it was going to be a very heavy-hearted game was whether to put Julia in an assisted living home or to care for her yourself. If you have actually ever had to decide this, either way it drains you mentally and physically, especially if you choose to care for the person yourself. I say this because my family has had to make this same decision, even though it wasn't dementia. So right off the bat, I can tell this was going to be a very emotional game. The story of your time in the forest actually mirrors that of your life before you went there. I don't know if this was intended, but in my opinion, I think it was. It mirrors it in that you meet a girl and both of you care for each other. In the case of the forest, it is the other ranger, Delilah. You can feel the sexual tension between the two characters from early on. After meeting both women, you adopt a pet, the first being a dog, and in the forest, you adopt a turtle. Near the end of the game, there is a fire, and you have to leave the forest. The fire symbolizes the end of that portion of his life and how his whole life gets turned upside down. Henry then decides to run away and start fresh in both cases. The story itself is very well done and builds suspense through the whole game, but sadly this fizzles out and changes on a dime right at the very end. It feels like the writers had this great idea and all this build-up, but it only led to disappointment. Up until the very end, it was a very good game, and I wouldn't let the ending deter anyone from experiencing it. Firewatch is a single-player only game, and the whole game took me about 5 hours to complete from start to finish. The game is very doable in one sitting, which is nice. The achievements in the game weren't too terribly hard either. Some you had to go out of your way to complete, but that actually didn't deter from how good the achievements are. One such example of this is that you can stumble upon an old cabin, and if you go to the basement and open the fridge, a raccoon pops out at you. This was a nice instance because it broke up the seriousness of the game for a few seconds and gave me a good laugh. It was comic relief that was well done. Another thing I really liked about the game was that when you looked down at the ground, you didn't just see nothing like most games. You actually saw your body, legs, and feet. The map mechanic I really enjoyed and made me feel like I was really out in the forest. Actually pulling up the map and putting it in front of you along with the compass to see where I was and where I needed to go was a very nice touch. Out of the main characters, you actually don't even get to meet any of them in person. It is just you in the forest for the whole game, minus a few instances where there is a quick snippet of silhouettes. There are a few other characters in the game, but diving too much into them would spoil the plot. I would say that the game has absolutely no replay value. That doesn't mean it is a bad game by any means, though. I think just one playthrough is enough because, as I stated earlier, the game can be completed in one sitting. It is a fun game that is driven by suspense and curiosity most of the time. That is actually enough for this small game. The scenery in the game is very stylized geometrically throughout. Ollie Moss was attached to this game and it really shows. Ollie is known for doing stylized movie posters of famous movies. The colors in the game work so well with each other. The yellows and reds made it feel like something was looming off in the distance, and in the beginning of the game when you got purples and blues, it gave me a sense of calmness and that there was nothing to fear and anything was possible. The music in the game reminded me of Borderlands. It made me have a sense that I was really alone out there in the forest, minus the fact I had a radio to communicate with. And when you did notice the music playing, It wasn't trying to be in your face about it either. The music worked hand in hand with the colors and look of the game to truly set the mood. So overall, is this a good game and should you play it? Yes. Yes, you should. Even if I and other people didn't like the ending of the game, the journey throughout the game and the build up until the end made the game really worth it. If you like relaxing games, this will definitely hit the spot. Do yourself a favor and get this game. So that's my review for Firewatch. I hope y'all enjoyed my video. If you did like the video, hit that like button. If you didn't, hit that dislike button. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And if you're interested in the game, go pick it up. I highly recommend it. See y'all next time.